60 Minutes found that 75% of the immigrants who were sent to El Salvador do not have public criminal records. Is that true?
Do you mean in our country?
The Venezuelan migrants who were sent to...
Okay, well, they're not Venezuelan migrants. They're illegal aliens from Venezuela who should not have been in our country, who are committing the most violent crimes. So if you committed a murder in our country, we're going to keep you here, and we're going to seek the death penalty, and we're going to keep you in prison because our victims' families deserve that. But we don't have to charge them with every crime. We can deport them and get them out of our country and save room in our prisons because they should have never been in our country to begin with.
So you confirm they didn't commit a crime,
Thank
right?
you.
Is that what you're confirming?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Pam Bondi.
And Attorney General, how many cases of fraud?
So that was Pam Bondi basically saying that these people don't have criminal charges in our American justice system. That is Pam Bondi walking away and not wanting to take accountability that 75% of these people found by 60 Minutes, they didn't commit a violent crime. Their only crime was being here in America. These are the same people that they said were doing extremely violent things such as murder and rape. Remember, that's what she said. These were violent, dangerous criminals. And this is her walking away saying, well, we don't actually got to, take them to, the court of law. This is just what we think that they've done, or somebody has alleged that they possibly might have done. They didn't have due process. These people don't, that's the reason why they don't have criminal records. They didn't have due process. But because we felt and we thought and we have this and we don't want to share this evidence with you, but we're telling you that these are very violent people, we sent them away like this. If that does not make your stomach turn, something is wrong with you. Like, are you serious, ma'am? Is that the best? Is this the best that we have in this country, that we have to go down to this? It's disgusting. But yeah, thank y'all so much for joining us in this video. This is the Pink Caucus. My name is Jamie. This is where you can get all your political and pop culture news. So let's dive right into this. But if you are here for 2 minutes, thank you. If you're here for the entire video, thank you as well. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Now let's actually really dive into this. Okay, so we just saw this clip, and what makes this even worse is the fact that the Supreme Court did end up siding with the Trump administration to some extent. Let me bring that up for you just 1 second. So we have here from the AP, Chief Justice Roberts crosses deadline for return of Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. They did not bring back the man from El Salvador. He put a pause on Judge Denis's order that Mr. Garcia was returned to the United States. And even in this case, and we can see here before we even talk further about the case, we see here that this is how these men are living. 75% of these men, as confirmed by 60 Minutes, that we sent, 75 of the men that we sent here, as confirmed by 60 Minutes, is living in these kind of conditions. That is crazy. That is absolutely despicable and very unbecoming. As an American citizen, it makes my stomach roll. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about it in the comments. Like, I understand. Send them back if they're not American citizens and they committed a crime, but they went through the due process and they had the ability to be heard. They're just not getting somebody saying, well, I think this person did this. No. Let them see a judge and make sure that their voice can be heard. And we saw recently, let me bring up the second Supreme Court case that we had come out just yesterday. Give me just 1 second. Case right here. We got USA Today. Trump claims a victory on SCOTUS. Alien Enemies Act ruling so that the ACLU, who's right. And the reason why is because a temporary restraining order that blocked the Trump administration from using that old law, it was overturned by the Supreme Court. However, these migrants have to be seen by a judge prior to being deported, and they have to be given reasonable time so that they can be given counsel so that they can be heard. So that is one good victory. So yes, they're able to use the Alien Enemies Act. I don't know how, considering that Trump is supposed to be welcoming the president of El Salvador tomorrow, literally. We have a clip of that we're going to play in a second. He's literally welcoming him to the United States of America. So I'm not sure exactly how they're a country that we're currently at war with. However, the Supreme Court did say that they have to be seen by a judge. The only caveat is it has to be in Texas, which is extremely unfair considering just how conservative that state is with their courts. But let's go ahead and see this clip.
On April 14th, President Trump will welcome President Bukele of El Salvador for an official working visit here at the White House. They will discuss El Salvador's partnership on using their Supermax prison for Tren de Aragua and MS-13 gang members, and how El Salvador's cooperation with the United States has become a model for others to work with this administration.
Now, the reason why I played this clip is because this is crazy, and I was wrong. It seems like it's the 18th that he's coming to the United States, but this is crazy. She literally just said that the way that the United States is working with El Salvador is a model for how other countries should work with the United States. Now, the reason why I'm pointing this out also is because they have also been floating the idea of deporting American citizens as well to other countries' prisons. This is extremely dangerous. This is the reason why the Supreme Court ruling was so bad. Even though, yes, they're now making it where you have to give due process. Even though it's in Texas, you are getting some due process. But what makes this is so bad is this emboldening this administration. We see Pam Bondi, the highest prosecutor in our country, is on TV just saying these most disgusting things about these men, and she's not being held to any accountability. And it's being shown that they're sending people that aren't supposed to go. We saw this in the case with the man in Maryland. We saw this with the case with 60 Minutes being unable to find any criminal record for 75% of the people sent on that last plane. We're seeing it here where they're now saying, well, if you want to, get in with the United States, follow this model. The model of a president who's taking immigrants and stuffing them like they're tuna fish in a tin can in a prison. What is that saying? What does that represent in America? What does that make us seem like? It's extremely barbaric. It's extremely disgusting. And to make it even worse, we just got a news report from the Detroit Free Press. They are now feeling emboldened enough to target the lawyers of people that are trying to defend the protesters that they've also been trying to deport. So we have this from the Detroit Free Press. Lawyer for UN protester detained at airport after spring break trip with family. This just came out yesterday evening. I don't know why the news is not playing this up because this is extremely important. A lawyer's spring break trip to the Dominican Republic with his family ended on a troubling note. He was detained by federal agents, questioned about his clients, and asked to give up his cell phone. This was a Dearborn attorney, Amara McKild, and you notice how he presents. The reason why they do this and they're targeting very specific people. They're targeting people they can make as another other. But yes, they were targeting him because he's representing a pro-Palestinian demonstrator who was arrested at the University of Michigan last year. And he did not give up his phone, he said. He says, I'm an American citizen. I'm not worried about being deported. So I tell them, I know you can take my phone. I'm not going to give you my phone. However, 90% of my work is on my phone. You're not getting unfettered access to it. What followed was a 90-minute back and forth verbal tussle between him and two federal agents who ultimately released him without taking his phone, but looked at his contact list instead. For the 38-year-old civil rights and criminal defense attorney, it was a daunting experience that he said highlighted a troubling phenomenon that occurred across the United States. Lawyers are getting targeted for handling issues that the administration disagrees with. The administration is doing something that no administration has done. They're attacking the attorneys. So this comes at the same time, mind you, they're talking about getting rid of TSA agents. This lawyer who has represented a demonstrator who presents a certain way, for all we know, this could have ended badly, right? Like, this is all a concert effort to scare Americans into either you're going to submit or we're going to find a way to get rid of you, whether that is through deportation, whether that is through attacking you in the public, whether that is through finding things that are connected to you, which is how he's able to get to the law firms, because he was able to get the law firms, the big law firms, to quiet themselves by saying, hey, if you don't follow through, I'm going to attack your clients next. This is un-American. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments. I'm just so astonished this is what we've become as a nation. But like I said, y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you were here for 2 minutes, like I said, thank you so much. If you were here for the entire video or a second, like any support is appreciated. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, and thank y'all so much for stopping by. Bye.